Then I did Harry Carey.
Oh, yeah.
At a play reading, doing a play reading. It was emotionally wrought, like Eugene O'Neill type, like, damn it, Carol, what happened to us? Like, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Yeah.
Like, I thought we still loved each other. You're breaking my heart. Look at me, don't turn away. I still have feelings for you.
This episode is brought to you by Chase Home Lending.
Hey, little girl.
Hi, Craig. How are you?
I'm really fine. I'm excited.
That's good. Now, we will caution our listeners, you do have a bit of a cough, an allergy cough.
I have an allergy cough, but we're narrowing down. It could be an air conditioning cough. So I either need a scarf or maybe I'll put my hood on.
Don't do that. Don't do that, because you'll get makeup on your hood.
Oh, that's right.
You got makeup on your head.
I got makeup on my head now.
You're not used to wearing makeup.
I'm not used to it. But why don't we give our listeners a little inside baseball?
On what?
On changing when you have makeup on my strategy of using...
I think, again, you think it's a new strategy.
Yeah.
Women, we've been doing this our whole lives. But please share as if you've discovered air.
So I went home after one of our early tapings in season 1, and there was makeup all over my shirts. And my wife, Kelly, said, "Hey, what happened here?" And I was like, "Oh, I was changing my shirt and got makeup on it." She was like, "Oh, let me give you a little hint. Use a shower cap. Put it over your head and face. Take your shirt off. Put it back on."
Wow.
It worked.
Craig, tell us more.
It worked.
Really?
Yes.
I never thought of that.
Unless you're in show business or something, how would you know that?
Being a woman?
Or a woman. But a guy, 50% of the you have to know. You have to be in show
but that's
business.
why I'm saying, see, when men discover something, they talk about it like, I just figured this out.
Oh, gosh.
So, thank you. Listeners, some inside baseball and how Craig discovered how to deal with makeup. Craig Robinson, thank you for sharing.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Well, we've got a fun conversation happening. One of my favorite comedians, one of my favorite people on TV. I will talk about this, but my favorite movie on the planet of all time, the only movie that I watch again and again and again, this man was in. We'll talk about it when he comes on, but I don't think I've ever told him.
Oh, okay. All right, because I know what it is. But
why don't you introduce our guest, Will Ferrell?
All right. Will Ferrell is an acclaimed actor, writer, and producer behind some of film's most iconic comedies and a 7-year Saturday Night Live standout, widely regarded as one of the show's greatest cast members. He is also the co-founder of Gloria Sanchez Productions. This summer, he will star in the first scripted comedy series, The Hawk, for Netflix, which you and I both watched the first 2 episodes. And we're cracking up, in which he plays a fictional golf legend, which this will be interesting because I'm not a golfer, as you know.
Okay, let's get him out here.
Without further ado, Mr. Will Ferrell. I am not a golfer. Are you a golfer?
I'm actually a golfer. Yeah, a little bit. Hi, thank you.
So you're also going to get a little brother and sister dynamic where there's always just a little edge of arguing underneath it.
Right. Okay. Yes.
It's just a little edge of, my big brother.
And by the way, Craig, I did know about the shower cap.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another reason.
Why
right? Would he know, Craig? Do you know why he would know?
Because he's in show business.
Exactly.
Well, no, because my mother would give us a shower cap every Christmas, a new shower cap. For the reason you just described.
It's like, honey.
So she was way ahead of the curve.
She was.
Us. Yeah.
She raised you to be an independent man.
Right.
Knowing about shower caps.
We haven't met, but we were in the same place together.
Okay.
At one of the White House parties.
Right.
And I want to see if you remember this because I think that you were doing this on purpose, but my wife is like, no, is he? And you were walking around the White House with the straightest of faces, not looking at anyone like this.
Uh-oh.
And I said,
do you remember that?
Do you remember doing that?
No, I'm trying to piece it together.
I could never forget it because I know it was you, and I have a witness to go along with it. And I was like, he's doing some sort of gag or bit. But it was before I knew what bit was.
Right.
Now that I'm in show business, I know what the term bit means. So I wouldn't have said bit back then, but that's what I meant. And you had the straight face. You were dressed like you had come to a party.
Right. But was it not
like
a party? Was it not
It was a party. There were like
party.
300 people. You've been to those parties. There were like 300 people. You
Yeah.
said not one word to anybody for the time that I saw you. Not one word. And everybody's talking. The music's going. And you had the straight face. And I looked over at my wife and I was like, see, this is why this dude is the funniest dude in the world right here.
I was getting credit for being funny
And you
without, I was just having a Chauncey Gardner moment.
No way.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I wouldn't, that's fine. I think I was just literally being
a visitor to the
nerd.
White House. Okay.
Yeah, checking out sconces.
Fair enough.
On the White House.
Fair enough.
Checking out wallpaper.
This makes it even better.
Thank you for being here.
Oh my God, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I love what you've done with it.
Done with the place.
It's wonderful.
Well, yeah. What do you think? I mean, you're in this business. You know, what do you think?
Designing?
No, set design. Atmospherics.
Yeah,
It looks like. Does it feel like we're at home at the kitchen
table? You must be
table?
Sponsored by Plessy.
Oh, good. I'm glad you pointed that out. That's one of our
tell us
drinks.
the virtues of Plessy.
That's like, yeah. It's a good drink, hydration drink.
I hope it is.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. It's amazing. But it's good to have you here. I was saying that, and my team didn't realize this when we were just sitting down getting ready for you to come. Because I don't know if I had said that because they were saying that you left Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
One of the reasons was because you knew of this project about Santa Claus and the idea of elf. Was it sort of, what was that?
I left. I'd been there 7 years, and you always you have to leave at some point unless you're Kenan.
Right.
He's still there.
He doesn't leave.
And he's literally the only one who could pull it off and still be there, and you love seeing him every time.
Yeah.
Now, short of Kenan, you are thinking about a time of like, when's a good moment to fly the coop, so to speak. And it just felt like I'd had enough momentum, but it's not like I had a stack of scripts waiting for me. But we were developing this one movie about a human who was raised by elves at the North Pole. And it was an amazing concept, but it needed a lot of work. And so we kind of rewrote the whole thing. And but it's such an interesting thing to have become what it's become.
I know.
Only because 2 weeks of film, I'm sitting in New York in my little tiny trailer, because that was one of my first bigger movies, but it was still a little tiny trailer. Looking in the mirror, dressed as Buddy the Elf in my yellow tights, going,
what was I thinking?
But literally, Buddy, this could be it. This could be the end right here. This is either a home run or a complete strikeout, and people are gonna be like, "What happened to the guy on SNL? He's pretty funny." So I had no idea that we had like lightning in a bottle, but we did.
It is my favorite movie of all time. I mean, it really is. I don't rewatch movies.
Yeah,
but it is hilarious every other second, and it is so sweet, and it just does all the things. It presses all the buttons. So whenever I want to feel better, I know literally, and then I make other people watch it with me, so that I can say, "Wait, here goes! Oh my God, it's the angry elf," And so it is a thing for a reason, and the level of sweetness and all that. How do you like, for a character like Buddy, do you know what you want to do with him before you put on that elf costume?
No,
and those tights.
Because we shot we shot Buddy discovering New York, all the
Yeah.
exterior stuff first. We shot 2 weeks in New York, and then the rest is all shot in Vancouver. So I had to quickly figure out, and the game that we we kind of figured out at the script level, but that, okay, so what is the essence of this guy? And I think he has to be the kind of mundane world that we take for granted. He has to think it's the greatest experience ever. And that's when I wrote the joke. I was like, you know, those just bodega type coffee shop places that say like world's best cup of coffee. He literally thinks that's the truth.
Yes.
So that when we burst in, like, congratulations, you did it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all the staff looking at me like, what? But you know, don't eat candy when you go, and him discovering the gum and like, I can't resist it. And just like,
picking it off.
But not knowing that a taxi cab, the yellow ones won't stop. So just like the wonderment, the naivete. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna lock into that. And just, he's just gonna be, it's gonna be wondrous to him.
Yeah.
And then I just built upon that. But it was like, hurry up and figure this guy out.
Because it's life or death.
Yes.
Moving into a new place is always a big moment. And thanks to Chase Home Lending, with branches and home lending advisors right in your community, they can help you feel supported all the way home. You know, the home really becomes the foundation for family traditions, milestones, and lasting memories. And Mish, what are some of your favorite family traditions that we used to do? You remember when Dad used to make peppered steak?
Yeah, that would be the one time he cooked. And
Once a year.
And he would make apple pie. So, you know,
So
Mom wouldn't touch pie.
Right.
But Dad made the apple pie.
He made apple pie, but he would make the peppered steak once a year, and he'd make apple pie once a year.
He made apple pie a few times a year, but the fact that Dad would cook, that became a special milestone. I loved our New Year's Eve tradition, where our mom would, instead of having a full dinner, we would stay up until midnight. She would make all these little amazing hors d'oeuvres, you know, those little cheese puffs on Ritz crackers and, you know, smoked oysters and fondue. I mean, she would be trying out all of these Betty Crocker little appetizer recipes on us.
I remember.
And it got so popular that our aunts and uncles, who were young at the time, stopped going out for New Year's Eve and came over
to
and
our
hung
house.
out with us. Yeah.
Man, and it just reminds me of a few more traditions. You remember pumpkin carving? Every year we carved pumpkins, and every Easter we decorated eggs.
And hid them.
Yes.
Or Mom would.
Mom would hide them.
Yeah.
So if you're ready to start your own journey, Chase Home Lending is here to help you build a future, create lasting memories, and feel connected to your community all the way home. Visit chase.com/IMO to take your first step. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity.
So the real Will Ferrell,
Right here.
like the
Right over
guy that, you know, is not a character, you know, is just a man trying to walk around the White House looking at stuff without people thinking he's doing a bit. A poor guy.
You don't have to laugh at her. You don't have to laugh at her.
I'm just still
You
trying
don't. You don't have to
search
laugh
my
at her.
mind of
You don't
what
have to
that
laugh.
moment
You know,
was. Yeah.
I knew I was going to like you when I was doing the research, and I found out
Yeah.
what a terrific athlete you were.
Yes.
I
thank
had
you.
no idea.
Are you,
You didn't know he
hearing
was
that?
going to say that.
Terrific athlete.
Terrific three-sport athlete.
4.
Oh,
What
did
did I
I miss?
Soccer.
Oh,
baseball,
wow, you got-
Basketball. What's the fourth?
football.
You play? Oh, you were a kicker.
Kicker
I was
on
a
the
kicker.
football team.
I
That's
was a kicker.
right.
I mean, I know that's
right.
why we forgot
I was a
about
kicker.
it.
Yeah, but you were captain of the
I was
basketball
kicker.
team.
I was, as the 6th man.
Ooh, now you know what that
See,
says a
that's
lot.
real leadership.
Yes, that says a lot, folks.
Okay, tell us
Because-
more.
Yeah.
Usually your captain is your best player, and rarely is your best player the 6th man. Although the 6th man gets to take more shots than the starters.
Guess how much I averaged my senior year?
How much?
My point average.
13.
1.25.
No way.
Yes.
That makes it even better.
Yeah, I only averaged like 2 points a game.
So what was your
Because
role
I figured out
game?
I was defense. I
Okay.
was rebounding.
Okay.
I usually guarded their better post player.
Okay.
And I was just unselfish player. I could
Tenacious.
set
Yeah.
a mean screen.
How much did the locker room help your comedy?
Well, I think all of high school was formed. I mean, whether it was the locker room, whether it was the classroom, whether I was benefited from a really funny group of friends. I describe myself as a conscientious class clown because my mom's in education. So I like respected the teachers, but I would I'd goof around to a point. If I got the eye, I'd be like, you got it, no problem. I'll shut it down. Keep talking. No, I'm enjoying the lecture. Yeah. No, aren't we? Yay. So I would know how to tiptoe up to the line to where the administration, we would work out bits during the school assembly where I could make fun of the vice principal. And he was like, hey, let's do that thing. And you make fun of me and I'll give you a look. And and we would do sketches.
Yeah.
We do morning radio announcements so it was already like the beginnings of, this is really fun. But I didn't dare dream yet because I grew up in entertainment. My dad was a musician and I saw how up and down that was.
He just wasn't any musician. He
played with the Righteous Brothers and toured around. But he had a lot of like piano bars and cocktail lounges where he'd have a gig for 6 months and then he's like, got to find a new gig. I'm like, why? What happened? He's like, nothing.
Yeah.
They're
How
done.
It goes.
And I'm like, I just remember thinking, oh, I'm going to get a real job.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I'm going to carry a briefcase and I'm going to work in an office.
Right.
Did you feel it? Did it feel unstable in the household because of your dad's sort of up and down, in and out?
It did a little bit. I mean, my folks divorced at a pretty early age. I mean, they did a really good job of kind of co-parenting. But yeah, there were, they tried to make my brother and I feel as kind of middle class as we could.
Yeah.
But there were like, if I knew I needed new basketball shoes, we were going to take all Saturday to comparison shop.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
To where I was like,
Bummer.
I think I can go another month, even though there's a whole. My dad would take us to like 9 different places, and I thought it was such a drag. I look back on it now, and I was like, no, he's teaching us the value
of the dollar. Yeah.
Yeah, and really wise in a way, but a bummer when you're 15.
Yeah.
14. Yeah. But
yeah.
But yeah. So I saw how this is very much living hand to mouth, and while my mom was putting herself through school, graduate school, and so yeah, I saw that was like, I want more stability. So and I thought I was going to be like a sportscaster. I love sports, so I thought the merge of two things would be, I'd be a talking head on ESPN.
So your dinner table that you were growing up in, what did that feel like? Was there funny there? Or did you save the funny for school, or was your mother also?
She's very funny.
Were you getting on her nerves too?
Probably both. She's funny in her own way. My dad, obviously, being an entertainer, he had my mom and dad came from the same small town.
Where was it?
They'd known each other since the 2nd grade, and Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. So she would tell, so he was always the prankster growing up in school and that sort of thing. So dad was, and my mom had this really sly sense of humor and this and that. So yeah, I think there was always us, my brother and I, putting on little shows in the living room and trying to be funny and being funny amongst our friends. And I think that's like your first comedy crowd are your friends. And then you kind of advance into going to parties, walking around a room, not looking at anyone. No, no.
I'll never live this down.
No, but we would go to high school parties and mess with other. Like we didn't go to really party. We would just start taking stuff out of the freezer of someone's and microwaving meat and like, okay, don't worry, we're.
Oh no!
The kid who was throwing the party was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Well, someone told us to start emptying the freezer." Like just random crazy stuff. Like, why? Someone told us to defrost all the meat in your freezer. I'm sorry. Were we not supposed to?
Oh my God.
And then we would just create havoc and then we go to another part. Like we just do the weirdest, dumbest stuff.
How many were in your little
like 4 or
rat
5. Yeah. And then we were like, that was pretty funny. Let's go. That works. Let's do that. But not other people who didn't know us aren't really laughing. We're just like amusing ourselves.
Yeah.
And just indulging that part of your brain.
Well, how were you with the girls being so obnoxious? How'd that work for your dating life?
I was a late bloomer. No one wants the funny guy, really. Yeah.
That comes later.
That comes later. Yeah. But back to team sports, there was something about like, and I think that's why I loved, when I started kind of exploring comedy, and it started with a little bit of stand-up, and then I found the Groundlings out here in LA, which is a big sketch comedy theater that tons of people would come out of. I loved the form of sketch. I loved the team, and that's what I loved about SNL. That's what I love about movie making. That's what I love about all this stuff is that you're working on a team. And I told the writers my first year on the show, because I'd seen some of the cast members get offended if their part was too small. And I would pull that right and I'd go like, I don't care if I have one line. If you need me to deliver a pizza in a sketch, because I'll try to make it funny. And give me that one line.
Right.
Give me, if it's off camera and need someone just yelling something, I'll figure it out. Like just, and that, ingratiating yourself in that way. And it was like usually a bonus to just walk into a scene and say one stupid thing and then walk out. I'd either at least make my fellow cast members laugh. But that team thing,
At what point were you like, okay, I'm going to give this a try?
I was taking classes at the Groundlings. I was working my way up through. So they have a school that you do all this training with, and then they start putting you in. They have like their minor league team, which is the Sunday show.
Okay.
And then you have the main company, which is Friday and Saturday nights, 4 shows a week. And I was really enjoying. I was like, God, this just feels right. So I went to lunch with my dad. I was like, Dad, I really want to give this a shot. What do you think? And he, excuse me, to this day, he gave me the best showbiz advice ever. He was like, if it was based on talent, I wouldn't worry about you. He's like, I've seen people, like, I'm going to tell you, you've got talent, but there's so much luck. And give it a shot, but don't get discouraged if you get down the road and you're like, this is just too hard. You didn't fail. You tried.
That's great.
And just, you're capable to just pivot and do something else and walk. And so, even though that's not like a rah-rah speech, it took the pressure off succeeding. And I thought, well, I'm not going to make it anyway. Let's just have fun. And it just allowed me to be loose. And there still was luck, but
What was the first lucky break for you?
The first kind of lucky break was I had a week out here in LA where I had grown my hair out for I was doing like a one-act play.
Like Pearl, like the Pearl.
Like the Pearl look, which was during semi-pro.
And Craig saw that and was like, is that his real hair? Is he wearing a wig?
That's a real, That's where I can go.
I like that.
See, that's where your real self looked like a bit again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I had that linked hair for this play I was doing.
Okay.
And I got 3 different parts on sitcoms in 1 week.
Wow.
I booked a Living Single.
Uh-huh.
I booked
wow.
Grace Under Fire.
Uh-huh.
And I booked the George Wendt Show, which was after he left Cheers, he tried to do a show on CBS.
Yeah.
And I might have booked another one. Anyway, it was like bam, bam, bam. They were all one line.
Yeah.
And this is before SNL. And I got my SAG card, or I got my it paid for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little bit of money left over, like very little. And it was like so cool and validating. And then 6 weeks later, we got the word that SNL was going to go through a real change.
Who was on at the time?
That was the year before I got there, was the last year for Sandler and Farley and Phil Hartman and David Harvey and Mike Myers and that whole entire crew. They were only keeping Tim Meadows, Molly Shannon, Norm Macdonald, David Spade. And that they were going to do a nationwide search for a brand new cast, and Groundlings was on the list. And so
did you know when they were there scouting you?
We knew they were in the audience the night they came, and it was a really great, everyone got to pick like their favorite sketch. And then because I was willing to write with everyone, or they encouraged that. They encouraged everyone to write with it. I was in 3 other sketches that were other people's favorites. So I had like 4 sketches. And myself, Sherry O'Terry, Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris Kattan were all flown out to New York for that first round of auditions. And then that led to a call.
What are the auditions like when you got there?
Very nebulous. Very like it was like pick a character of your choice, a political impersonation if you do one, a celebrity impersonation if you do one, 5 to 8 minutes long, or if you don't do any of that, be funny.
Go.
That was it. Go.
Wow.
In the SNL studio, on the spot where the host delivers the monologue.
That's crazy.
With a camera and like one spotlight and a disinterested guy holding like a boom mic. Like,
What'd that feel like? Were you just over the moon nervous?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, that's what I imagined.
I literally was standing. So then you stand out. You're standing outside the stage doors by the page desk, and you're waiting. I'm hearing the audition in front of me, but I'm looking on the walls of all the hosts of that year.
Oh, man.
And past cast members and everything. And I remember thinking, you could just run right now.
Remember what your dad said?
You could just get right in that elevator and go right back and say,
Yeah.
And then the door flew up and they're like,
too late.
Well, next. And then you just had to step up there, and it was like.
Do you remember what you did?
Yeah, I did. I did this character that made it on the first show. This guy who's yelling at his kids to get off the shed, which is so weird to talk about. It's like a dad at a barbecue who's just talking about school and golf and this and that, and then he's like, "Hey, buddy, want to do me a favor and get off the shed?" Like, we don't see what the shed is. It's just like a gardening shed or whatever. And then back to the conversation. Anyway, hey, what'd I say? Get off the shed. Anyway, so I took my car and get off the shed. And so it was just a game of like yelling at the person and then going back, and then the people around me like getting so nervous. That was one thing I did. Yeah. Then I did Harry Carey.
Oh, yeah.
At a play reading, doing a play reading of like, which was a sketch I'd written at the Groundlings during the baseball strike. Oh my God. That Harry Carey was unemployed, so now he was doing a play. Oh. But it was a emotionally wrought, like Eugene O'Neill type, like, damn it, Carol, what happened to us? Like, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf?
Yeah.
I thought we still loved each other. You're breaking my heart. Look at me. Don't turn away. I still have feelings for you. So I did that. But you got to understand, it's dark. No one's laughing.
Oh, man.
Lauren's in the back of the room, lit
right.
cigarette. Well,
So
not
you
really,
get
but
no feedback.
no feedback. And then I think I did like Ted Kennedy doing stand-up comedy. I don't know. It
Oh,
was
come
very
on.
weird.
What did that sound like?
It was, what did I do? Like, I don't remember the jokes at all, but I would do Ted Kennedy like this. And what did the chicken say as he crossed the road? No, I don't know. It was like, so I'm doing that. Yeah, and that was it. But, and then you left, and then you had no idea.
How long did it take for them to get back to you?
We kind of heard after the fact, like the Groundlings had done really well.
Okay.
So there was a little bit, and then flew back to LA.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, at that time, I'd got great advice. I was doing a class, which was a cold reading class, which is you just show up and they're just like, they hand you script. This guy, Ian Tucker, I think his last name, great teacher. And it was such a cool class because you had to get out of your head and you just were like, you play Sam, you play Barbara, go. And you just had to like be in the moment. And so after class one day, I'm like, Ian, guess what? I got an SNL audition. He went, you did? What? No, good. He kind of was a little too, he was like, whoa.
Oh, whoa.
And I go, because he had worked with Lisa Kudrow and from Friends, and he'd worked with a couple of, I'm like, do you have, he's like, wow, okay, just, you know what? Once again, he took the pressure off. He's like, you're just throwing darts at the dartboard here.
Mm-hmm.
Treat it, if you can, as a trip to New York. Have a great time.
Yeah.
If nothing happens, and you can at least come back and maybe have a meeting with an agent and say, hey, I got to audition for SNL. Like, it's still a cool thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's just treat it that way. So then they did call back all the grant. We had to do a second audition in which you sat down with Lorne Michaels first.
Yeah.
You came up for 2 days. And then he had me change everything. I had to rewrite my audition the night before.
Well, how do you get that feedback?
You sat with, he's like, what are you thinking about doing tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I had always heard in callbacks for network TV, like just do the thing you've been doing because that's what brought you there, and just don't try to change anything. And so he said, what are you thinking about for tomorrow? I'm like, well, I'm thinking I'm gonna do this. And he's like, no, I wouldn't do that. No. The only thing is like, okay, do the get off the shed thing again. In hindsight, what he was doing a favor because he knew the executives in Burbank were watching, and he wanted me to just show
your range.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there I was sweating it out in my tiny New York, hotel room, trying to figure out what I was going to do. And then that's when I did on this audition tape. There's you can look it up. I'm a guy who plays with cat toys. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
I will look it up as soon as we leave.
With cat toys. I did that. I was like,
how do you think of this stuff on the fly?
No, it was another sketch I'd done at the Groundlings.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
And then, so I just tried a couple other different things, and then I really had no idea. But then a couple weeks went by, and then I heard they were going to come see us at the show, and then.
What was it like sitting down with Lorne Michaels? What was he like that first meeting? Were you just scared out of your pants?
Lorne was yes. In fact, he thinks the story is so funny now, but I had read a story how Adam Sandler had done some crazy bit and had a 5-minute meeting and was hired on the spot. And I thought, well, that's be free, be yourself, and just be crazy, and you'll get. So my version of craziness was I bought a whole bunch of fake money from a novelty store, and I had a briefcase, and I was gonna let him talk, and I was just gonna start piling money on his desk. I was like, Lorne, we can keep talking till the cows come home, but we know what really talks, money. And I'm gonna stack this money up, on your desk. And it was bad counterfeit money.
Right.
Toy money. I'm like, and no one's going to know. You can take it or leave it. It's up to you. And then I was going to pack up my thing and walk out. And that was going to be my meeting.
Oh, God.
I walk in there with my briefcase. And the atmosphere is like,
Not that.
No. So you didn't even get to do it?
What comedian walks in with a briefcase?
Yeah.
I'm at my little briefcase and I'm like, okay, so don't do that. Okay, throw out my entire audition. Okay. And then I'm leaving going, ugh. He thinks I'm I have a brief. I like, what? What weirdo walks in with a leather briefcase?
Yeah.
It's not like I had sketch and even Steve Higgins, who was hired as the new, who's still there today. Lauren was like, Steve, do you have anything you want to ask? He's like, nice briefcase. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. You have no idea. And then when I finally, Lauren wanted me to meet with me again, and they were very vague as to why. It was the meeting where he told me I got it.
Oh, okay.
So then I was in my apartment out here, and I was like, damn it, I'm bringing the briefcase back. I'm going to show him. I'm going to stack the money. I'm going to do it. This time I'm doing it. I walk in, the assistant goes, you can leave your briefcase. I'm like, okay. So we sit down. He has the, Lauren can be obtuse at times, and I didn't even know I had the job. And he's like, so have you ever lived in New York? I go, no.
No. Thanks for small talk.
But
Lovely.
yeah, it'd be fun though.
No.
He's like, well, we're bringing Sherry, so you won't be alone. I'm like, what do you mean I won't be alone?
What?
Yeah, what? He's like, I think, since you guys know each other, so Sherry was at the Groundlings too, and we'd work together there too. And I'm like, what do you mean? So I won't be alone?
This is the meeting.
This is the meeting. And then I got self-conscious that I didn't leap up out of my chair.
Yeah.
And so he's like, so anyway. And I'm like, and I stood up and I'm like, thank you so much. And I was like, well, I'm gonna shake your hand. And he goes, do what you have to do. And then I leave, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta call my folks. I gotta find a payphone.
You're right, really.
Before itself. Yeah.
Young people.
Yep.
That's the thing that doesn't exist anymore.
I found one on Melrose. And I grabbed my briefcase, and then now everyone in the office is like going, way to go.
Yeah.
They had to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
And I go, hold on. I've been trying to give this fake money to him twice. Will you just give it to him and say, this is what I was trying to do. I was going to stack all this fake money. He got it later. He thought it was so funny that I tried twice to get it.
And
so he laughed
still didn't. Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have a favorite character? I mean, I know everybody has theirs of yours, but of all the many characters you played, is there one that, it's like...
They're all like my children.
But everyone has a favorite.
That's true. No. Do I have a favorite? I'm lucky enough to when people come up and bring up various things, it's so fun to hear what their kind of favorite movie is. And I'm lucky enough to have worked on enough of these movies that for whatever reasons have, landed, hit the zeitgeist in the right way. The one, Talladega Nights was so much fun. That's where John and I first got to work at. And then we got to do Step Brothers. So those characters are near and dear to my heart. And then probably the silly, I tend to land on the square of Ron Burgundy and Anchorman only because that was super hard to get made. It was, we had so many rejections. People were like, I don't get why this will be funny. And we're like, just trust us. Yeah, it's just buffoonish guys. And it's not so much, it's a little bit satirical. It's more satirical than we ever thought. But, and now it's just really what the news is like. But that was such a struggle. And we finally got to make it, and it felt like we were playing with the house's money. And we're just like, we never thought we'd get to make this, so let's make it as crazy as we can.
Yeah.
And so that one's, Ron Burgundy's pretty great.
Yeah. I've lived in quite a few major cities over the years, and I've always loved how much each one changed whenever a big event came to town. All of a sudden, Chicago would be filled with music lovers or film aficionados or, of course, people dying to see the Cubs win. And in those moments, it can suddenly be quite difficult for visitors to find a place to stay, which is where Airbnb comes in, offering travelers an option with a bit more local charm. So if you've got some travel coming up during a big happening like a music festival or a big sporting event, consider listing your place on Airbnb. It's an excellent way to be part of your city's experience. You're helping someone enjoy the weekend, the game, the whole vibe of your neighborhood, all while making a little extra income. Some cash you could put towards your next big trip. I know when I've traveled, I've always appreciated those little details, the personal moments that help make me feel connected with somewhere new. It's what makes a trip memorable. Your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host. One thing that happens every summer is I end up spending a very long time in the supermarket picking out my produce. We get tomatoes that taste this way once a year, and I want to do this right. And that whole process is exactly why I appreciate using Shipt. The shoppers with Shipt really pay attention to the details. I can text directly with my shopper and make sure I'm getting exactly what I want, no matter how specific. With Shipt, you can get the main courses, the seasonings, and even an extra bag of charcoal shopped same day. You can also order from lots of different stores, including Safeway, Albertsons, Michael's, Target, and PetSmart. With an annual membership, you can place as many Shipt orders as you want, and you'll always pay $0 in delivery fees on orders over $35. Also, right now, you can get up to 30% off barbecue essentials, travel needs, and more during Shipt's Summer of Savings event now through July 4th. Get a $49 annual membership with the promo code podcast at shipt.com/offer. That's SHIPT.com/offer. Terms apply. I really admire people who start their own businesses. And I've even thought about it myself, maybe a used sports gear market. Kelly already is deep in on the online reselling game. She would go crazy for that. And I already know exactly where I'd start, Shopify. What I like about Shopify is that you don't have to be a tech expert or have some giant company behind you. Shopify gives you all the tools to build your store, manage your customers, and grow your business without feeling overwhelmed. And these days, it's not enough to just have a website. People are shopping everywhere, on social media, on YouTube, through apps and platforms you and I probably never heard of. Shopify helps get your products in front of customers wherever they already are. You probably use Shopify without even knowing it every single day. Every time you see that purple Shop Pay button at checkout, you know that's another business supported by Shopify. Build your store, own your audience, and create something that lasts. Start now at shopify.com/IMO.
When did you meet Viv? Where in your journey did she show up?
We were in an acting program down in Orange County here in California.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I graduate from college,
Mm-hmm.
I immediately moved back home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I had a lot going on,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of prospects. I moved back home because I thought, okay, I could try the sportscasting thing, but the comedy thing, So I'm working at like a local cable news station. I'm also doing some stand-up comedy, and my mom says, that's okay, you can move. Let's just treat this as your graduate school.
Your gap year.
Yeah, your gap year.
Yeah.
And she gives me a gift of a scene study class. It's the first acting class. And there's a great theater down in Orange County called South Coast Repertory Theater. It's a Tony Award winning. And we had grown up there going to see plays. My mom would be a docent from time, she'd take us, we were like 10 years old watching Chekhov going,
Wow.
I don't know what's going on, but it looks like it's good. And they had a summer conservatory program. And I thought, I should audition for this. And anyway, that's where I meet Vivica.
Wow.
So she was in the same program. And we were both, she thought I was some rowdy frat guy.
Because you kind of were.
Because I kind of were. Yeah. I think the only thing that evidenced that was I wore my hat backwards one day.
Okay.
And she was like,
I know your type.
I'm like, really? And then I thought she was some erudite, stuck-up actress girl. And
So you saw her.
I saw her.
She stood
right away.
out.
I think she auditioned after I did because I think I was like, who's this girl in the hallway going, ooh, ooh.
She was practicing.
She's doing vocal works. I was like, what? Who does that? La, 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 oh, 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 oh. I was like, who's that chick? And then I had my hat on backwards. What's up? But I was like, Viv, I think that was you. She's like, yeah, I think I used to do those.
I used to do that.
Yeah. And she was an art history major and a theater minor. And soccer player out at Pomona. And so, yeah, we met there. We dated a little bit and then we were friends for 5 years and then we kind of doubled back.
So wait. You dated and then became friends?
Yeah.
What happened? What did you do wrong in the first date?
You wore your hat forward.
I wore that.
How did you get friend zoned?
It was Viv. Viv was like, we really liked each other. She was like, she was the more mature. She was like, what are we going to do though? Where's this going? And we were just both kind of the one that got away for each other for a while there. But we had the same circles of friends. And so we'd see each other all the time. And we always had this connection, like where if someone thought I was weird, she was like, that was really funny, by the way. I saw that.
Good.
And we just kind of were like, yeah, I don't know how it just became, it became a friendship to the point where like I had a steady girlfriend. She would tell me about her dates. She's like,
wow.
She's like, let me ask your opinions. Is it bad if a guy pulls out a coupon on a first date? I'm like, probably not good. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't want to cast judgment, but maybe not. Yeah, maybe keep looking. And
so when did you guys make it official?
when I got Saturday Night Live? No, I'm just kidding. But it kind of coincided a little bit. But I was on my first year of the show, and I came back to LA during one of our breaks. I called her up. She was like, I remember, this is how I knew I still really liked her. It was the Lakers-Houston playoff game. And
it begins with basketball.
It does. And diehard Laker fan, saw Magic and Bird play in their first game together. That's how diehard I am. Up in the rafters at the Forum in 8th grade. Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Do I get some Plessy for that?
No, you're right.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can. We'll give
Okay,
you a
so
case.
Plessy,
You
yeah.
do.
There's
You do.
3 of us in the room, 5 of us in the room who can appreciate that.
Okay.
I stopped listening.
So it starts with basketball. Vivica calls me and is like, hey, do you want to go for a walk in Runyon Canyon? And I was just going to go walk the dog. And I was like, yep. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm blowing off watching the Laker game to go. So we go for this really fun walk. We're laughing. We're talking the whole time. She's like, hey, what are you doing? Do you want to stop by my place and have a beer? I was like, okay. I hope she's okay with me telling this. Anyway, too late, honey. Sorry.
It's us,
Okay.
Vivica.
Yeah. And
We'll just keep it between us.
she gives me a beer, and she drank her beer in 2 sips.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
And she's like, "Do you want another
Who's
one?"
the frat boy now?
No kidding. and so she drinks it, and she's like, "Do you want another one?" I go, well, "I haven't even finished the first one." and I go, "Sure." So I'm like double fisted, and she's really nervous.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out what's going. Once again, I'm telling you, we're just friends. Like I blew it with her, and so she sits down. She's like, "So, I mean, I just want to tell you, I still really like you." And I
Nice.
said, "What?" I go, and of course, I can't play it cool. I go, "You're not going to, I just told my uncle if there was anyone I would marry, it's you." And then she goes,
Did you really say that?
"I
or what?
swear to, yes."
You said that.
You
said
turned into
that.
Buddy the Elf.
I turned into Buddy. And then she was like, "Okay." And then we didn't know what to do. And then she drove me home, and I thought it was like game on. And I went in to give her a kiss, and she gave me the cheek. And then I was like, and then it was, and then we were in this weird kind of thing of like we had both.
It was out there. It was on
out
the
there,
table.
but we were friends. And then she's like, "By the way, I'm also dating someone right now." Like,
Ooh.
wait a
are you
minute.
doing to
Hold
me?
on. And then I was like, "Okay, well, okay. I take back what I said." Then I got, and then we saw each other when the season was over. She's like, "By the way, I broke up with that guy, just so you know." I'm like, "All right, okay, well, good for you." So, and then, anyway, it's been a whole summer of courtship,
of that.
of just like hanging out, going to get coffee.
That's cool. Did she move to New York eventually?
And then by the end of that summer, we're like, I think we're dated, right? We're like, and then, but she was still working out here, and the SNL schedule is so conducive. There's so many breaks.
Yeah.
I could go back and forth. So she'd come visit, and I still did SNL when we were married, and we just knew we'd end up back here.
Got it.
Yeah.
Did that settle you down? Did you feel, did that help you in your career? Feeling like I got my person, my ride or die, she gets me, I'm not doing this thing alone. Or was it, was it harder? Because now
she was, she's kind of just a very unique person in the thing that she was always, because you'd work on something and someone would be on the phone, and it's like, that's my girlfriend asked me how much longer are we going to shoot? And Viv would never, she'd be like, "I get it.
Yeah.
It's a movie." And she just had this easiness about her. And I think because she tried acting a little bit but she had this understanding of like, and we would always have this open discussion of like, if I was going to take on a project, I was like, I may be here for 3 months. She's like, "Don't worry, we'll come visit."
Yeah.
But we also made a plan that I always would take the summer off for the most part. So we would bank the time when we could.
Yep.
And she was just like, "No, this is what it takes, And so I lucked out. Big time.
You sure did.
How long were you all married before you had kids, your first kid?
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Magnus was born in 2004.
So you were still at Saturday Night Live then?
No,
Or
I
you
left I just left.
Okay.
I left in 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, so big risk moving, big jump, and then baby.
Yeah.
Way to go. Way to double down on it all. How did that feel?
Left the set of Kicking and Screaming. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. Left the set when I heard Viv was in labor, and the crew was like, "Yes, way to go, Will." They thought it was so cool, even though it was worked out ahead of time. And we just built in a little break, and Magnus was born. Yeah. Yeah.
How was it being a dad? How did that change you?
I did not like it. I was like, uh-oh.
It's like he's messing up everything.
No, it's been amazing. Like every step of the way. Yeah.
So she's surrounded by 4
yeah.
big, stinky men.
Yep.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Does she have
No.
girlfriends that help ease the
She,
sisters? Anything to
She
break up that
has-
testosterone?
I mean, once again, she's kind of unfazed. She was actually like, I remember when our youngest son was born, and the one of the nurses at the hospital was like, "You got to go for the girl," and I was like, "No, we're good. That's 3.
Yeah.
That's 3. We're good." And she's like, "Who am I kidding? I'm just not gonna have girls."
Yeah.
And she's like, "And I don't know if I might. I don't know if I'd be a good girl mom." Yeah.
Mhm. I always thought I was gonna have 3 boys.
Yeah.
I don't, where does that come
Right.
from?
Where does that come? Exactly.
Yeah. My 2 girls are amazing, and I was not going for the boy. It was just like I got 2 healthy girls, and Barack was in politics, so I said, "That's your 3rd child, right there."
Right. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
but yeah, I don't, we kind of just. I mean, there's obviously a transition, but I don't remember it. I mean, now it's so long ago, but
Not
we
that
kind
long
of just
ago.
took it off. Yeah, yeah. But having a new baby around, we just kind of.
Yeah.
It was a new thing we were doing. Even though Viv was never the type who's like she's like, I wanted to have kids, but she was not obsessed with it. And so when it finally happened, and she is the biggest dog person in the world, and I remember when it was getting really close to her due date, and she collapsed on the floor one day, very hormonal and feeling everything and feeling that. And I'm like, what is it? What, are you okay? She's like, what if I love the dogs more than the baby? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, huh,
Is that a thing?
is that a thing? And then, but I was like, then we'll just work it out. I was like, I doubt that's going to happen, but we'll work it out. And sure enough, when we came home with Mag, she's like, dogs stay downstairs.
Right. Yeah.
And it was all,
Yeah.
That changed
it all
up.
took up. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
What kind of dad are you?
Strict disciplinarian.
We don't believe that.
I wouldn't say I'm strict, but yeah, I've had to learn. I've gotten more frustrated than you would think, though, in a way, where I've lost my temper.
Yeah. Get off the shit!
Yeah, that's become real sometimes. And I've learned to, once again, now the boys are 16, 19, and 22, so there's not as much of that. But yeah, growing up, I was surprised at where it'd be like, I tried to use all the parenting techniques, and then it just turned into, because I said so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd turn into that guy.
Yeah.
And they'd look at me like, who are you? You're crazy. And so I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. But
are they funny like
no,
you?
I never pushed like anything about, or we never talked about my work. And if I happen to have a billboard of a movie, they'd be like, oh, there's Papa. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to come out soon.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We just kept it like,
How old were they when they could figure out what was really going on, though?
like when they started school, like first grade, second grade, kindergarten, they started realizing, oh, okay, other kids know who you are. And, but then I would try to always like, I just try to find fun ways to diffuse the tension. So there'd be like a big argument, and then I would just leave for a little while and just come out in my underwear, nothing but my underwear, and go, guys, we got to be serious about this, okay?
That's great.
Look at me. Listen to me. And they try not to, they just start laughing. And I was always trying to like, just change up.
I want you for a dad.
And then I would always have them do this thing. If they got in a fight, I'd be like, okay, you guys don't get to do this, whatever you want to do, whatever the thing we've just worked out, hands in the middle, hermanos siempres, which is brothers always. They're like, what?
What?
Just say it.
So,
And they'd be like, hermanos siempres. Nope, you got to say it like you mean it. You got to say it right. Hermanos siempres. No, I'm sorry. I'm throwing the Xbox in the pool. I want to hear it. And then they'd be laughing again. And yeah, because my mom would do things like that with my brother and I. And
yeah.
make us run around the car 10 times on a car trip if we were, and by the time we were done, we were laughing.
Yeah.
And so I would try to do those sorts of things.
So people don't realize when you have boys,
Yeah.
they're going to fight, but it's not a real fight.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like you don't have to worry about them killing each other,
Right. Yeah.
but they fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been lucky that and we got 3 big guys and they've never had the full, because my brother and I had some full like throwing punches. And
Yeah.
and the guys, it's been one punch.
Yeah.
And they're like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody
Yeah.
fights anymore.
Right.
But
Right.
we told our boys that if you guys can fight,
Yeah.
but when you're done, you have to kiss and make up on the mouth.
Okay. I like that.
And it ended everything. How about that?
Who thought of that?
Kelly.
Okay.
That's so good.
I was like, where'd you get that?
Really?
Yes.
It's like, well done.
Well done.
It's
Well
just
done.
like, ew.
Yeah.
Viv was always good because she had, of course, read all the books and everything. And then she was just like, okay, so Magnus, what do you want? What upset you about what Matthias just did? Well, hold on, let him speak. Okay, Matthias, what would you like to see from Matt? And like do this conflict negotiation, and which worked great at first. And then as I got older, like, do we have to do this again? They see right through it. They're like, I know, you're gonna ask me what my problem I have, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah.
Did they follow in your footsteps as a 3-sport athlete?
Not, sports are so different now. It's all so specialized,
Yeah, it is.
It's a shame.
right?
But
Magnus is
they're
a
athletes.
big soccer player.
Okay.
Matthias is basketball and volleyball, and Axel's basketball and volleyball. So,
College players, are they playing in?
no,
Yeah.
no. Magnus is singing now. He's out.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got music out there. Magnus Farrell.
Way to go. He's got music
He's
out.
got
What's his genre?
See, can I play you a little something?
Please.
Right?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Proud dad. I
So
love
proud.
it. Yes.
So proud. But like, this is this little 5-year-old you
Yeah.
met in the map room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When they brought whoopee cushions.
Yeah. Oh, God.
The boys brought whoopee cushions to
They
the White
did.
House.
Oh, nice.
But this is,
They were ready for prime time.
they were ready for prime time. But this is that kid. So,
Wow. He's got a groove going, right?
Wow. Okay. Breathy.
right?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
How old is he?
22.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Madness. Is he this cute?
He's more handsome than me, and I'm pretty handsome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
True.
But this way, hold on.
Okay.
This next part's for Craig. Coming up. This is for you, Craig, in your Airbnb.
Okay.
Okay, Magnus.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
Magnus Farrell. Magnus Farrell.
Is that out? Is it?
That's
an
out right
EP?
now. Asleep Talking.
Asleep Talking. Did he?
He's
does
on,
he write?
He's on Republic Records label. Yeah.
Wow, he's got an amazing
He writes,
groove.
and his buddy Gabe, they met in 7th grade jazz band at Harvard Westlake. They were the competing piano players.
yeah.
Magnus was hated Gabe In fact, wrote his college entrance paper on how he hated the guy who eventually became his best friend. And,
that's cool.
and they left USC Music School sophomore year to go do, and they're both making stuff like this.
Wow.
That's
So
good.
So
That's
anyway,
good.
Okay.
Very soulful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's throwback kind of R&B.
Oh
and
God, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
right up,
Yeah.
it's what's happening. And
But
he's got a good voice.
Mhm.
That falsetto is
Right.
just
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
So,
you
yeah.
you can sing too.
I can not like that, but yeah, sure.
So where does the music come? That's your father.
That's
Did your mom
kinda-
sing? Does Vivica? I mean,
Viv's a really good singer.
Oh,
Viv was
wow.
in bands in college
Wow.
and did was Rizzo in Grease.
okay, yeah, all right.
Okay.
So she's really musical. The boys all grew up playing piano. And so yeah, in terms of following and then Matthias is doing some acting stuff and Axel's playing ball for right now. But he can sing too. Anyway, so we'll see,
That's
But
so
we're
cool.
just happy they are, because there's so much mental it's so tough out there.
Yeah.
And they're finding stuff they're just passionate about. And it's just go.
Yeah. This back to school season, spend less on your kids with Amazon. One thing nobody prepares you for when you have kids is how quickly they go through school supplies. I cannot imagine when I was growing up going through backpacks as quickly as my kids do nowadays. But somehow, once a year, it's back to the store we go, or to 2 stores, or 3. Not to mention how fast it all just manages to disappear. The school year isn't half over, and somehow we're out of pencils, erasers, notebooks, and 30 other things. That's why I really appreciate Amazon during the back to school season. Whether you're shopping for school supplies, backpacks, lunch gear, clothes, or all those last minute items that I know you don't want to be running around for, Amazon has it all. You can compare brands instantly and read reviews, knowing that what you buy will actually last. Basically, Amazon makes it easy to get what you need and get back to your life. So remember, with Amazon's low back-to-school prices, just spend less on your kids, because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Let's talk about The Hawk.
Oh yeah, right. The Hawk.
How'd that
It's
come
Coming
good.
out on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Yeah.
got to see a couple
July.
of episodes.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's very silly.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny. Yes.
No, that's I play a kind of a down and out golfer, Lonnie the Hawk Hawkins.
Yeah.
Who's still he's down in the minor leagues of golf, the Korn Ferry Tour, which is a real thing.
Yes.
Hanging on to his dream of winning the 4th major.
And he's a jerk.
He's a jerk. Yeah.
Very selfish.
He's very narcissistic.
I wasn't ready for the first episode, though. I was looking forward. I don't want to spoil anything, but man, you hit it hard right at the beginning.
It's very, yes. It's it's kind of an old school comedy where we don't really hold any punches, and there's
Not at all.
There's not a big message other
Not
than
Buddy the Elf.
It's not it's not Buddy. This guy, but as you watch the series, he does have a heart.
Yeah, yeah.
And but he's competing.
Good, because in the first episode,
Oh,
you
it's
think
coming.
this dude is
Yeah.
a colossal jerk.
It's
Oh man.
yeah. He just when you think he's kind of a broken, flawed guy. A bit of a scallywag. Does everyone know that word?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
the
young
older people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know,
we were
the
like,
young people.
yes, of course.
But it's a really funny kid. Molly Shannon plays my
She's amazing.
wife,
Yeah.
who's everyone thinks is ex-wife, but I refuse to sign the divorce papers.
Yes.
Jimmy Tatro is my son.
Is that the son? He's good.
He's great.
He's really good.
He's the next prodigy in golf, which I'm
Yes.
very proud of, but compete against at the
Yes.
same time. I
Yeah.
want to take credit for his success.
And kind of the polar opposites. You
Yeah.
know, don't eat well, you don't train, your caddy is crazy. And he's like the Uber, you know.
Right.
He's training and eating
Yeah.
the right stuff and living just a totally different life.
Yep. And but yeah, it's just a super fun cast, super fun comedy where we kind of explore golf we make some comments about golf that haven't been made.
Mhm.
And the PGA was very cool and was on board, and we're like, yeah, poke fun at us. We're good. We're good with it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need it.
So yeah,
They need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling our colleagues that, and thank you, by the way, because you are one of a handful of actors that I can watch whatever you do. You,
Oh, okay.
Robert De
You
Niro,
are still that one
Denzel.
line. If you've got one line, Will
Denzel,
Ferrell's
Robert,
in.
I'm in good company.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Well done.
Yeah.
You've brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. And we're just grateful to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We usually do a listener question.
Okay.
This is in my opinion. So we try to offer some advice
Yeah.
to people who
okay.
write in.
All of us chip in.
We
Yeah,
all chip in.
Okay.
We all chip in.
You think this is a good time for our listener question?
Lena.
Lena from
Lena, who is in her late 30s from the state of Washington.
As
So
opposed to Washington, D.C.
yes.
It's a big-
Washington State. Seattle. Yakima. Let me guess. Olympia. Tumwater.
unknown.
Unknown. Okay. Trying to think.
Oh boy. I
I
am
got
the
more.
That's pretty good.
I know.
That's a
It's
lot.
like,
Okay.
woo.
I am the parent to 4 amazing children, a new baby, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 8-year-old. They are my whole world. However, to be frank, my 3-year-old is a total shit disturber. He's super, super smart, really energetic, and is incredibly sweet. But he can also use all of his charm and strength to kind of bully his older siblings into doing things his way. He's a great kid, but I think just so high energy and advanced that he gets bored very easily. He's a little force of nature and we're tired. I've literally had family tell me, I think lovingly, that this kid is either going to discover the cure for cancer or be a serial killer. I have 2 questions. 1, how do I make sure he ends up going on path 1? And 2, my actual question, how do I parent a kid who demands a lot of time and energy without sucking the whole family, and especially the other children, into all of these antics? And that's Lena in Washington in her late 30s.
Whoa.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect question for you.
4. I'm just thinking about 4.
You just start there.
Yeah.
It's like she went for the one you did not.
Yeah. Right. And it's the 3-year-old, right?
Yes.
That's in question.
Yes.
Lena, I think you're screwed. No. No. Yeah, you gotta kind of tie yourself to the mast and weather the storm and you have to, I think you have to let kids be who they're going to be, but at the same time, try to set up some boundaries that won't compete with the other. Well, it sounds like an infant, but the other 2 who are conscious of that stuff. And because it sounds like this little guy needs to stretch out and do his thing. I don't know. You just have to try to find a way to manage both sides of it in a way. Right?
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
I'm still, I'm still trying to figure out how to help Lena. But, it's 3 is a unique time. So,
Yeah.
I think part of what you said, Will, there's some weathering the storm.
Yeah. It will pass.
Yeah, where he is at 3 developmentally, he may still be formulating language. He might still, he might he's got a lot of growing up to do. And so you got to give him a little grace of just 3-year-olds,
Yeah, right.
3-year-old boys in
Right,
particular.
right,
And I
right.
didn't have boys.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a distinct difference between girls and boys. I mean, my girls, girls can sit in color,
Yeah. And even when we just had 2 of the boys for whatever reason, we were like, why is it so calm? Like, and then the third one would come along and there'd be no rhyme or reason. They just seek chaos and then smack someone in the head.
Yeah.
And then it was game on again. And we're like, oh, so that's just going to happen. I mean,
and he may need a different kind of attention. I mean, if the
Yeah.
other 2 kids, they're older and they probably can be a bit more self-sufficient, and the baby is a baby. And, this is the one thing I learned. Babies are, good. You don't need to put tons of time into if you're dividing, it's like, love the baby, feed the baby, have the baby around. The baby's learning through osmosis through all these other kids, and
Yep.
they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
The older kids, put them in activities, get them focused on some stuff so that maybe you can give the 3-year-old the attention that he's craving, so that it's not, don't consider it a suck, right? It may just be that you might need to give him a little extra time.
if she has that time to give.
If she has, so that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Try to create it where
Right.
it doesn't feel like a suck. The baby is good.
Or take this little guy to the dog park and just let him run around in an enclosed area.
But she may need to figure out what motivates
What
him.
motivates
Right.
him? Yeah, I agree.
What is it?
Yeah.
She doesn't have the time to really focus in
Yeah.
on what is he really asking for.
Yeah.
Is it time? Does he need more attention? Does he need to run more?
Right.
She might need to solve him, and it may take her a minute. And now she has 4. I'm sure she doesn't have the time that she had with the 2 older kids to see them
Yeah.
and to really be like, this is who you are. And if there's a way to do a little divide and conquering for a minute, I don't know if she has a husband, she has friends or family members that can take the easier kids for a period of time. And it doesn't have to be
carve out.
forever.
Right.
It might just, he may need to be, it's like the puppy. He may need to have an individual walk.
Yeah.
Or run or whatever
Right.
it is. She's going to have to experiment with some things, But with all kids, I think you can set boundaries, You just have to, and it may take an extra level of energy with this one.
Yeah.
But you got to kind of keep at it. He still has to follow some rules and not be a jerk and be nice and listen. It's just harder with that many kids to stay on the one. It's nicer when they just cooperate, right?
Yeah.
Well, she's got one that's like, no, I need to hear it 100 times. I think now is the time to try to figure him out. And if the other 2 kids are relatively okay, the older ones, then I would spend some time on this 3-year-old just to try to figure out what buttons need to be pushed for him.
So both of you give good advice, but I've got a couple things that I want to.
Okay. And thank you for that encouragement.
I want to. A couple things I want to tell Lena. First of all, the likelihood of him becoming an axe murderer is pretty small.
It is. That is true.
So
I do
don't
agree
let
with that.
those folks scare you into
I agree.
thinking
Lena.
this guy's going to be a psychopath. But when you, I've got 4 kids, but I had 2 older and 2 younger, so I didn't have this dynamic. But I suspect if we did have this dynamic, this was be how we would attack it. And that advice, our mom would say that. Whenever there was a new baby around, babies don't need a whole lot of attention, she would always say. Give the attention to the kid who's the next one up or whatever you have, because they're feeling the addition of that kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at these ages, 8, 5, 3, and newborn,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the 3-year-old got sandwiched between a short age. Like the 8-year-old
Got to have.
got to have his time.
three, yep.
And then the 5-year-old has a 3-year older kid to help with sort
and
of
there was
socialization.
nobody, and so probably got treated more like an only child, like got
Right.
a lot of initial.
So the 3-year-old is feeling the brunt of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And what I would say to Lena is start with when you give the 3-year-old choices, make them 2 choices or 3 choices, however many you're going to give them, where you don't care which one they pick.
So they feel empowered.
So they
a little
feel
bit.
empowered
Yep.
and feel like you're treating them like a
Yep.
5-year-old or an
Yep.
older kid.
Yeah.
We've always found that worked when kids are acting a little bit bratty. So like what
They're just
Vivica-
looking for a little
they're
control.
Little control.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like
Yeah.
your wife said, all right, what do you need in this situation?
Yeah.
And as long as it's not candy,
Yeah. Right.
we can probably figure it out. And so I just think Lena needs to be just a tad bit more strategic and don't take the tongue-in-cheek psychopath axe murderer to heart, because it's unlikely to happen.
Well, Will, thank you.
You guys are so much fun.
It was so much fun. It's
This
really
was really neat.
The
This was really
normal,
fun.
regular
Yeah.
Will Ferrell is kind of a nice guy,
Right? Kind of
yeah.
nice. No, I
Yeah.
mean, normal, kind
Yeah.
of, sort of
Yeah.
funny.
More
Funny enough.
funny, yeah.
More
Funny enough.
normal than I
Than
would have thought.
You would thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So now you know he was just staring
He
off
was
into
just looking at
space.
the artwork. You were looking at the artwork.
But now that we know each other, when
You're
I know
gonna make-
people, I'm
gonna make
I'll be
content.
funnier. If I don't know you, I'm like, I can't waste
It's
the
like,
energy
I
right
can't-
now.
I can't
But now
do
that I know you, I'm going to be so funny.